today we've got a Honda Jazz here and we're doing a front ender on it. So yeah, welcome to the show. Let's get straight into it. So as you can see, all the prep work's been done. 2 brand new panels, a couple of blends, well, and there's another brand new panel over there too. Now it's like a splash shield that goes down here. Now I've actually already done a little bit of paint work down here. I was waiting for this booth first thing in the morning. One of the other guys sprayed another car, so it's around, I don't know, 10:30, 11 o'clock at the moment. And it's on Friday, so his car was going. My car's got to go too, this one. So I'll get this one done before lunchtime. Get it baking over lunch, and the guys can get it fitted up after lunch. Then we'll give it a bit of a polish, wash it up, and it will be going back to the owner. If all goes to plan, which it usually does. My jobs don't usually get put off. So yeah, pretty straightforward job, like just a few new parts and a couple of blends really. As far as the colour goes, so I'm using Stando Blue as usual, and there's a full colour card system in there, so they've got colour chips, and I'd probably say 80% of the time I don't have to even check my colours, so I'll run off those colour chips and just mix and paint. And that is the case on this one too. I just found a good colour chip. With the silvers, I've found you're best off going with something like if there's 2 different colour chips and you're sort of like 50-50 between the 2, with silvers, go for the lighter one. If one's just a touch lighter and one's a touch darker, always go for the lighter one with your silvers. It always seems to blend out a little bit better. It's better than having, yeah, like a dark patch of your new colour, I guess. It's not going to stand out as much. Where are we here? We've got like a guard liner, plastic liner here. We're going to have to get the tape up underneath that, and then we'll back mask off that. Yeah, it is what it is, man. Like, I was just talking to one of my mates yesterday about like the way the trade has changed, because we're talking about the old guy that we work with, and you know, like you would understand that he's not going to be as fast as us younger guys, but we were sort of throwing our minds back to when we started in the trade, and yeah, like you definitely did get a lot more time in it. I've noticed even in the last sort of like 10 years, specifically in the last 10 years here in Australia, the quality of work has dropped off a lot. And I mean, obviously that's not a good thing, but the standard of work has definitely been lowered, and that is not just in this trade, it's across the board, I find anyway. It seems that these days people are like bosses, and everyone is more worried about a paycheck, a quick buck, than doing the job properly, which is sad. As I say, it's not a good thing, but it is what it is, man. Like, what can you do? What can I do? I'm just one man. I'm making an observation, you know. And even in myself, like, there's certain things that, because it's just go, go, go. And if you want me to get this to go today, man, I'm just gonna have to smash it out. I don't have time to, I don't know, like, spend that little bit extra time to get it really good. Like, I can get it good, you know, and even as far as consumers and what they expect out of stuff, you know, people just want cheap. And yeah, you get what you pay for at the end of the day, don't you? You know, you want me to spend 2 or 3 hours painting a front end on the car, you're gonna get a 2 or 3 hour job. I don't know, chime in down in the comments section and let us know what you think, if that's the case in your part of the world. But back I don't know, like when I started, like the early 2000s, I started in the year 2000 in this trade, and I can't remember who it was, but I heard a few people say that here in Australia has some of the highest, back then at least, we had some of the highest standards of quality of repairs on motor vehicles in the world. Like supposedly even had some guys from Germany come out over here, and vice versa, like some of us guys go to Germany and and some of those, you know, places that you would expect good quality work to come out of, even they say, yeah, like Australia does actually have some really good quality standards. So that was you know, something that I could be proud about, to hear that, you know, here in Australia we do good work. But I've definitely noticed that drop off in the last sort of 10 years, and I can't say I'm proud of it, but it is what it is, man. What do you want me to do? Like, at the end of the day, like, I'm here for a paycheck as well. Like, I don't want to be slaving my ass doing this kind of crap when I'm, you know, 65 or 70 years old. Like, at the end of the day, man, I work my ass off, and yeah, I invest my money these days. I've been saving for the last 10 years. So like, in my 20s, I didn't really save much money. I was on good money, like, for the time. Like, I was always on, I was able to demand a pretty good wicket, you know, like a pretty good paycheck, because I've always been, I'd say, better than average spray painter. And that's not, you know, that's not me going around saying I'm the best, but you should know your own capabilities. Like, you know better than anyone else what you're capable of, I guess. If you're honest with yourself, obviously, you know. And I can honestly say that I've always been a bit above average when it comes to spray painting. But yeah, like in my 20s, I just wasted all my money. But, you know, I'd drink and party on the weekends and that, and I didn't really have much to show for it. When I turned 30, it was around that time, and I just sort of, there was actually like one of those turning points in my life. I was telling it to one of the paint reps the other day, Jeff from Park Automotives, and I was telling him, there's this old guy that used to work here, actually. It was when I was working here, and it was a freezing cold winter's day. You actually do get cold days here in Perth. Freezing cold winter's morning, sorry, and there was this old guy, man. He must have been pushing 70, right? And I saw him lying down on his back on the cold concrete, and I said to myself, man, that's not gonna be me. I don't want to be that guy. And it's one of those things that stayed in my head, the image of that old guy lying down on a cold concrete floor in the middle of winter. And that's been motivation for me to improve my own financial position, and make sure that I don't have to do that. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. Hey, I will probably be lying down on a cold concrete floor some morning when I'm 70. I don't mind that, but I guess it's just a motivator as a young guy, you know. Like, I'll do it. I'll do it because I want to be doing it, not because I have to be doing it, if you get my drift. So, yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. And as I say, like, after I hit my 30s, what I did with my money, I really started, you know, changing the way I look at it. And, you know, when with successful people, sometimes the unsuccessful, or those that haven't saved their money, they get jealous of them. And so, man, we have the same opportunities, you know. Like, I was born just like you were. And just because you decide to go and blow all your money and I save all my money, don't get jealous of me, man, you know. That you do get some people that have that sort of, you know, mentality. So let's throw a piece of plastic over this, and then we won't be far off. So what I'm going to do is get some plastic on this first, and while it's covered up, we'll get the wet on wet down. So I've actually got all my guns over there in the corner. Everything's ready to go. But yeah, I don't know, it's one of those things that, like, when it does come to money, I recommend all of you do the same thing. Like, just be clever with your money. And I know it's hard when you got your mates calling you up on the weekend, oh, let's go and do this, let's go and do that. But I guess for me personally, it's been helpful living here in Perth, because I wasn't born here in Perth. I was born totally on the other side of the country, like 3,500 kilometers away from where I'm living now. So I'm a bit of a hermit. I stay at home on the weekends. I'm such a frugal type guy that I look at that coffee, that $5 coffee, and I'm like, nah, I'll save that. And I added up, I'm like, $5 once a week over a whole year, there's 500 bucks or whatever it be, you know. I think you know, it's worth yeah, just saving for the future, man. And then one day, you know, I'll be able to say, hey, I'll get a copy every single day when I want it, you know. I don't know. But as I mentioned the other day, I've actually been buying some shares because the markets have been a little bit down over the corona crap. So I thought I'd pounce when some of the shares are down, and they've been up and down, they've been a bit fluctuating lately, so I'll just hold on to them and see what happens, man. Now this is one awesome part about having all those PPS pots. I've literally got everything I need to stay in here until the base coat and yeah, all the wet on wet primers are down, base coat and everything. I shouldn't even have to leave this spray booth. So I'll get those gloves on. Yeah, lots of people have been saying they've been enjoying having me upload on the Raw channel again, so I thought I'd take you through this job here. So what have we got here? We'll start off with this one here, the new bumper, and I've got one of these. These things are pretty awesome. They're expensive, but so they're IPA, isopropyl alcohol, and deionized water. So this is for the brand new bumper. They're an anti-static white / cleaner. So we've got two different types of non-sanding primer. I'll show you in a second. I like to give these plastic bumpers a really good blow down to get rid of all the little bits of dust and fluff and stuff like that. And then I'll wipe it down with that wipe. I don't always use them. Sometimes I'll just use the what's it called? I just use the water cleaner, and that does actually work. It's basically the same ingredients, basically. Rightio, so here we go, give it a wipe down with this. These are pretty much a single use thing. Don't really want to be going and using them multiple times. So by rights, you are meant to just wipe this down and that's it. But sometimes you'll see little bits of fluff and stuff left behind after you wipe it. You'll have to give it like a little bit of a tack rag, but you don't want to tack rag it too much because this will get rid of the static, but then you're wiping it down with a tack rag will get the static back up in it. So, but yeah, silvers are a bit of a prick with brand new bumpers. I always seem to get like a couple of big chunks in the wet on wet, which will then show through to the colour. And because this system is so application sensitive, like if you go and put the paint on heavy on the guard with the colour, like you go and smash it on really nice and heavy, and then you put it on light on the bumper where it meets up, well actually you'll see a colour difference. So yeah, just pretty much got to stick to the wet application. Rightio, that's actually looking pretty good. I'm pretty confident, that's the word, about this one. Let's give these, that's what I like to do when I do use one of these up, just sort of give the airlines a bit of a wipe down. Can't hurt while you've got it out. We'll be using this one later on to blow the base coat down, so give that a bit of a clean up for what it's worth. Only takes a second. So next up, I'll get that respirator on. nearly out of battery power, so I'll probably get the wet on wet down and change the battery over. I've got a spare one in there. Yeah, so I've got two different wet on wet. So this one here is the plastic. This one's got a plastic additive in with it, but they are exactly the same colour. So F4 is the number, which is like a mid to light grey. I'll just give it a blow down, make sure there's none of that that water alcohol mix, which is looking pretty good. I've already taken photos of this job, which is something that we have to do for insurance purposes. It's actually looking pretty clean, to be honest. But if there's one or two nibs, we'll try to pick that up in the wet on wet primer before we go and get our colour down. Yeah man, so FLG5, what a beast of a thing man. I love this gun eh. So I primarily use this gun here for wet on wet primer and 2K direct loss colour. So that's the wet on wet down here. I might use the rest of this up on this part here. So this is the plastic mix wet on wet. And I've got the other wet on wet in the other PPS pot there. That's one good thing about this wet on wet. You actually, for a brand new panel, which this one here is, you don't even have to sand it. It took me a while to even trust that, but I trust it now. So yeah, that's a brand new panel. I like to sand the outside of the new panels, but I don't even waste my time any interior panels. I tell you what, I love that boost box. If you don't have one, get one or make one, man. They're so handy. Just keeps your stuff all nice and clean. So this one here is a wax and grease remover, solvent-based one. So yeah, I just got a bit of 320 grit on the orbital sander, buzz the outside down, and that's it man. Then we put it up on this stand, and we'll give her a squirt. Obviously gave it a really good blow down with the high pressure air blower. Rightio, so I mixed up 200 mils just for the bumper of the plastic wet on wet, and now I've got the standard wet on wet here. This is a metal wet on wet, so this one doesn't have the additive, but it's the same colour because it's mixed up to the formula. Crank that pressure up just a touch. So when doing new panels, I always like to spray the outside first. I find you get a much cleaner finish because if you spray the inside first, all that overspray lands on here and it dries so quickly because it's just a fine mist. It dries so quickly, and then when you go to spray over it, it's like a sand pit. So if you spray the outside first, when you are spraying the inside, it's it's gonna melt into that wet coat. So yeah, like I never used to do that. I always used to start from the inside because that's how I was taught, but someone told me, hey, give it a shot, spraying the outside first, and I did it, and I would never look back, man. Never look back. So yeah, camera's still rolling. Turn that pressure down a little bit. So yeah, FLG plus 1.4, mate, is a little big thing. 200 bucks. I had this guy on Instagram. He's an avid follower. He loves these bits and, you know, like learning from Gunny. But he goes, oh, talking about starter jet, and he's like, oh, I just love the quality of my starter jet. So I showed him a photo of this, and I said, I love the quality of my FLG 5, man. And I'm serious, like, dead set serious. This is a brilliantly made spray gun. The quality of these guns are amazing. You can really just throw them around and they just perform. What else would you want? Bit tight in there. Yeah, like when I was an apprentice, we never used to have these stands, these bonnet flippers. So it was always my job to spray the inside of the new panels. I'd go, because we had two spray booths, you know, it would be my job to just go and take all the new panels into the spray booth and spray the inside. It's a good little, good way to get familiar with just, I don't know, spray guns and how spraying paint works and stuff like that. Got a little bit of silicone there, a bit of a reaction. So what I'll try and do is dry that down as quick as possible and then dust the coat on. The rest of it looks pretty good though. Cool. But that's pretty much flashed off. If I dust the coat on here, it should sit down. You see that? It's covered it up already. I'm not sure if you're catching that on the camera, but yeah, all good, man. That can stay there until I go clean it out. How we going? Yeah, I'll just go and change the battery in this camera, which I've actually got in my pocket, and yeah, back in a sec. Rightio, so now we've got that wet on wet down. We're just going to finish the masking off quickly, and yeah, next up we'll get the colour down after the masking's done, and a couple of coats of clear, and we're done. So those whites actually look to have done a really good job, better than usual, man. So I've got one here, one little nib, and sometimes you can just do that, eh? Like you just sort of like get it out with your finger without actually sanding it. That's it, man. That actually looks good. Might have to start using those things again. Got a full box of them in there, but I sort of go through stages, like maybe I'll use them and then I'll get a really bad job where it's probably not its fault, but you know, you'll blame it on it, and then you go and try something different. It's all good, mate. Life's a learning experience, isn't it? But yeah, I'm still, I say, relatively lucky to be in a trade that I enjoy. I do enjoy this trade, like for all its downfalls and its imperfections, and you know, when you get put under the pump, like yesterday I sprayed 2 jobs in the morning before lunch and then polished 5. So our detailer was away, so I had to go bang bang, paint 2 jobs, get them baking, get them out, and then the guys were fitting them up, and I had like 3 or 4 other jobs from earlier in the week that I had to polish, and then the jobs that I'd painted had to polish. You know, sometimes it can be pretty hectic, but all in all, I get a kick out of that, you know. Like I like setting myself goals and saying, hey, let's see if we can get all that done. And the good thing about it is that I always sort of come through with the goods, if you know what I mean. Like I always manage to make a way of making it happen, I guess, you know. Yeah, I'm at the point where like work isn't really hard for me, so that's good. Although I do understand, like it's not an easy job for some people, but yeah, it's like anything really, isn't it? Like once you know how to do it, it's not that hard. Yeah, I love this yellow tape. I'll tell you what, 301 plus is the number on it. It's a little bit on the expensive side, I've been told. Like, we had a bad batch of 3M 150 tape, and told my paint rep, and he's like, oh, you know, my 3M rep, sorry, and he's like, oh, give this stuff a go, man. I'm like, whoa, this stuff is so good. He told me it's expensive. I don't even think our distributor has it, but yeah, it's good stuff. so that's about us. We'll give these panels a wipe down with some waterborne cleaner. The rest of them are right to go straight over with our colour. So this is my tape. I'm not sharing, so I'll put this one up here and get a new white off rag. Still recording, yep. So water cleaner. Glove up and we'll get some colour down. I'll probably do those blends first and move the way down the booth. I guess it probably wouldn't matter. I have a think. How we going for time? Bloody see out there. I think it's 11:15 maybe. So that's right, that's one thing I've got to think about is I like to do, yeah, okay, I'll do that. I'll work my way down this way. So there is a reason for that. So the inside of the bonnet on this one doesn't get clear coat, so it stays a satin matte color. And to get that finish, you can add a little bit of hardener to your base coat, which I've already done in this one here. Yeah, so I've just got the one gun here. I've got the green Pro Light. Lots of people love this gun, including myself. So I've got TE20 1.3 is the fluid tip. And this one is the colour. Make sure this gun's spraying before we go too far. I've mentioned that a few times and it's hard to tell sometimes. Yeah, it's all good. So yeah, I use this gun to spray some of those inside parts already, and sometimes you can get the tiniest little bit of paint caught up in there, and if you find that out after you've got your blender down, you're going to have a bad time. So yeah, the way I like to paint my base coat on these bonnets is the same way I do my wet on wet. So I'll spray the outside first, and because the inside needs hardener, I'm actually gonna do that last, because I've got to swap the gun over, or swap the pot over at least. It's actually probably about time I got a new tack right there. I was meaning to grab one, but I forgot to grab one when I was out there, so we'll make it work. It's all good. So give it a good tack right here, and we'll do both sides. Okay, so we only really need this base coat blender where I'm not going to be putting the colour. You don't need to double it up. A little bit, you need a little bit of overlap, but you don't want too much overlap. All that does is just
take longer to dry. Just overloading the material where it's not really necessary. So you see there where the bumper is going to meet up and where the bonnet is going to meet up, I'm not putting much, if any, of this. So this is our blend. I like to crank that pressure down a bit, just so that we don't have the colour go too fast. So wet coat first, and then we'll hold the gun back a bit. That's it, man. That's about it. You can't dilly-dally because we don't want that blender on the other fender to be drying. I mean, it is the middle of winter, but I've got that spray booth cranked quite high. That's about it, man. So there's no colour up to the edge. There's full colour there. That's us, man. Maybe go a little bit heavier here. That's done, man. We'll come back to that part later. That needs a different colour. So with bumpers these days, I'll sort of break it up into either half-half or into 3 sections. So I'll do that, and then I'll do all the edges like this, make sure those edges are covered. 1 coat I found is enough for all the edges. So I'll do the first coat on the face, then 1 coat on the edges, nice and wet. And then I'll come back and do that drop coat on the faces. So now we do our drop coat. Just double check I've got that edge there. I'm holding that gun right back to that drop coat. And as I've mentioned, the worst thing that can happen is that it's drying as you're applying. But that's all good. Now that corner's done, we'll come in and do the center section. Same thing, faces first, then we'll do our edges. Again, 1 coat on the edges is fine. Some of the guys used to comment, laughing at how I would spray a bumper like it's a Rubik's Cube or something. They would like lose it. I mean, I knew where I was in my head, and I guess that's the main thing, isn't it, really? So if it does, that started drying. If it does start drying as you're spraying, just wet it back up before you drop coat it. Which is what you just saw me do then. Yes, surprising how fast this stuff can dry sometimes. Again, now we're doing this corner. Wet coat, hold the gun close, wet it up, coat on the edges, and then you drop coat. But yeah, this system, man, like, you really need to get shit done properly, like, right the first time. As soon as you don't get it right the first time, you're in for a headache. And yeah, silvers are only the worst. Shit's starting to dry through here. That's why I break it up into three sections. If I was over there now, it'd be too dry before I got to do my drop coat. Okay, looking good, man, looking good. I'm actually pretty confident that I'll be able to do both coats on this bonnet with it sitting up like this on this angle. That'll be fine. So I actually put like half slow blender and half fast or normal blender. So you've got standard and not blender, reducer. And yeah, I just went half of each just to slow it down a bit. I actually put a little bit of water in there too, not too much. And with this mixer just to help slow it down. Because as I say, I just can't say that enough, like you really don't want it to dry as you're spraying. Which it was starting to do at the top there, so I wet it up and then I'll come back and do that drop again, which is what you've seen me do here. And now with that 2 coats, it's going to take a lot longer to dry than your first coat. So we've still got a bit of time for that to stay wet and quickly change over to this one here. So this one here is exactly the same colour, but it's got a little bit of hardener in with it. So a bit of base coat hardener, and that's going to improve the durability because the insides, I'll just put in that trigger a bit, and the inside of here stays sort of matte finish. So all that is as I said before, hardener with base coat base coat with base coat hardener inside it, 1 coat, and that's it, and it stays like this. It'll dry down to a matte finish and it'll look perfect. I swear that must be what they do from factories, because it looks exactly like what's already on there, what's already underneath there. A little bit of this hardened base coat on the outside is not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt at all. It'll dry. I'll get the air blower up in a minute, making sure the back edge is covered, which it is. And I'll make sure I'm happy with how that's looking. That's looking good, man. That'll dry down perfectly. Now, moving on to our last little part here. So this is another second colour which I mixed up. This is like the engine bay colour. It sort of looks like a primer colour. Just clear that. I'll turn that pressure down so we don't get. Hopefully we don't get any overspray on the rest of the part. That would suck. And then we just dust a little bit of that hardened base coat over the top, and we're done, man. All good. So now I'm going to get my air blower, spend a few minutes. As you can see, that bumper's drying quite fast. It'll only be probably 3 to 5 minutes, and then I'll go mix some clear coat up. So I'll show you what I do here. Get this air blower. I love this one, man. It really pumps a nice volume of air over the panels. So sort of get it on the angle so that the air flows over the entire panel. And yeah, all good, man. So I'll flick that camera up. This video's probably getting long enough as it is, and I'll see you guys when we're ready to throw some clear down. Rightio, let's get back to it now, gunners. So clear coat mixed up in the gun, ready to go. So stand up standardly as usual, fast hardener as usual, Gunman edition Pro Light as usual. TE20. I threw the 1.4mm fluid tip on this gun probably about 2 or 3 months ago, and it stayed on ever since. as I was saying with this system here, as long as everything goes right the first time, man, it's one hell of a system. But as soon as you have like one little imperfection in your base coat, oh man, it can be an absolute nightmare. Like, yeah, that's nice and clean, and but yeah, it's like, I don't know, I can't be bothered explaining. it can be a total nightmare, just trust me. And some of the other guys at work who don't particularly like it, eh? So yeah, first coat on the bumper, really just aiming for all the faces. I'm not getting too worried about all the edges yet. So yeah, I'm going to give that a couple minutes. I'll probably flick that camera off, but yeah, just to let it flash off now. Probably actually, yeah, see that's still a little bit on the wet side. So yeah, I'll just give it a few minutes. So I started there, but and then went here and then went here. But on my second coat, I go here, here, and then return to the bonnet. I do have a reason for that, but I'll just flick that camera off and we'll wait for a few minutes. See you in a sec. Rightio, let's finish this job off there, gunners. Looking good, man, really nice and clean. I don't think I'll be bumping this bumper here. Yeah, as I say, that's sort of like always been one of my favourite things about this system. As long as you get that base coat right first time, they'll always, well, usually, not always, sorry, they'll usually come out really clean. How's that? Nice and wet. Yeah, boy, that's killer, man. There's nice factory looking finish to it. Still recording? Yep. We've got one big chunk here. That'll polish out easily enough though. How's that? Yeah, there's actually a few. Yeah, there's actually quite a few in this fender for whatever reason. Can't really say exactly why. They'll all buff out, like big chunk of there, and there's a couple around here, but yeah, there's a few around there. It's all good, man. Silver's actually really easy for buffing. Again, this bonnet's looking nice and clean too, isn't it? So what I might do with this one is go out, clean all those guns out. I haven't cleaned any of the face turd or non-standing guns out yet, any of that, so I'll clean all of them out, come back, make sure I'm happy with it, and then I'll hit bake for probably half an hour. But as far as that bonnet goes, man, that is just about the only bit that we're going to have to nib out, and that looks like a hair. Yeah, that's all it is, man. Woo! Loves it, mate. Gutting, smashing it out. Got the best job in the world, baby. Woo! How you spray silver with standard glue. Radio gunners, hope you all have a good week, weekend, whatever, rest of your days, and I'll see you in the next one. Gunman out. Get out there and take some shit. There's a link in the description of where you can get some Gunman merch if you like. Thanks for watching and thanks for supporting the channel. See you in the next one. Woo!
I'd like to say a big thanks to everyone for watching, and if you'd like to support the channel further, you're more than welcome to go over and check out some of the merchandise we've got. My personal favourite is those spray suits, so they're a good quality Colad branded spray suit with the Gunman logo on it. There's also hats, drink coolers, hoodies and t-shirts, so be sure to go over and check out the link in the description if you are interested. All that aside, I'd just like to say a big thanks for watching, and that is enough to support the channel. But as I say, if you'd like to go the next step, then be sure to check out some of that merchandise. Thanks for watching, and until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.